is Dorsey to throw. Yeah! He throws it in the end zone. Yeah! He's got to put it. Up to the races. Can they catch it? Cuts it back. Ohio State
wins. The Ohio State of Mind podcast, hosted by Josh Keatley, Chris Reynolds.
All right, it is Monday, the 16th of December. This is the Ohio State of Mind podcast. I am Chris. Josh is not with us this week. Josh might, I'm not going to say might, that sounds so terrible and morbid. Josh is ushering in the next wave of Ohio State of Mind podcasters currently. So we are, myself and Donovan, we've got our fingers crossed. Hoping for good news and hoping it's a boy, but either that's either here nor there. Donovan, friend of the podcast, he's back. You can catch it. We still catch you at Who's Your State of Mind? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Still catch you on Who's Your State of Mind. I'm sure you've been just plugging away all week, getting ready for this big. It almost feels like that big Friday night playoff game, right? Or is it just me? Be on that Friday night kind of thing.
No, it feels cool having it on a Friday night. It feels like it feels like the high school football state championship.
Exactly.
From the same state too. So
in-state rival here, or maybe a new rivalry going on. Battle for Indiana. And being the only ticket in town too. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, Purdue.
It is.
They got a new coach though, who's good. So
they did. We'll get some time. We'll get into that. But we are going to break down this weekend's games for the first round of the first 12-team college football playoffs. But before we do that, please, if you've got a minute, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, a subscribe, whatever you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook, if you want to jump over to the YouTube, give us a subscribe. You want to jump in here and have your word in it, throw in a comment or two. We will be more than willing to entice you and get you involved. That's all what we're about. But before we get to the playoffs, we're going to talk about some news that broke this weekend here in college football. And here's the news. As of Saturday, we have a new Heisman Trophy winner. New Heisman Trophy winner is Travis Hunter for 2024. Hunter, he garnered 80% of all the possible points, which was the 11th most by a Heisman Trophy winner. He joins the realm with Charles Woodson as a two-time player, playing on both sides of the ball. Chuck Woodson maybe didn't play that much on offense, but Chuck Woodson still brought it home. 214 votes separated him from second place Ashton Jeanty. This was the closest margin since 2009, and it's only the fifth time a quarterback hasn't won it this century. And only 214 votes separated them. What do you think about the Heisman Trophy for 2024? There, Donovan.
Yeah, I got a chance to watch it on ESPN. Chris Fowler is amazing, by the way. Always does a good job hosting that thing. So it was cool seeing Lil Wayne.
I didn't expect that. I saw.
Yeah, I saw Travis said he had a surprise, but I didn't think it would be him.
I saw
sitting in the front.
Yeah, I saw a lot of craziness this weekend. It
was cool though.
Yeah,
I watched Holly Rowe with all four of those guys. All their stories. Dylan, being at UCF and being at Oklahoma, and now being at Oregon, and being a Hawaiian kid with Mariota.
Oh, yeah.
That was a cool story. He's so quiet and just humble, but still had the ice on. He had the $100,000 wrist. I mean, he's icy though. He lives in a van, but don't let that fool you.
He's a silent assassin.
He is. Ashton Jeanty story, cool. Just being at Boise, not in the portal, and finishing second from a school like that to Boise State. It was a high finish, almost won the whole damn thing. So that was cool. And he's originally from Jacksonville, where I live too.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's moved around a lot because he's a military kid, which you guys heard.
Right.
But he's originally from Jacksonville, from Duval. Cam Ward, that story, I think he has the most insane story there, just because where he came from. Shout out to Bill Carroll, by the way. I know you know him. He was on Cam Ward back in what's the college he went to where he started? Before he was because he was that Ingrid Ward. Is that how he said?
Yeah, Incarnate Ward.
Ward. Yeah. So I mean, 0-star recruit. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And then
No.
Travis, man. I interviewed Travis when he was at Collins Hill in high school in Georgia.
Yeah.
And Sam Horn was his quarterback, who's at Missouri now. Interviewed both of those guys. He's the truth. He was the truth when I went to go. I mean, I drove like 2 hours to go watch this kid in high school, and
No shit.
to everything.
Yeah.
I actually had a tweet, not to toot my own horn, but I was like, I don't know what position he's gonna play because he's so good at both. I said that when he was in high school as a senior, and I still don't know. But
Right.
hey, he won the Heisman, so I'm super happy for him and Coach Prime and Colorado's program. I texted my buddy that went to Colorado. So you got another Heisman winner. He wasn't alive when Rashawn Salam won. I don't know if I was either, but maybe. But no, I was. But I'm just happy for Travis, man. I know Ashton finished second, but proud of all these guys. They had good years. And Curtis Rourke finished ninth, by the way.
Curtis Rourke finished ninth. We got Josh messages in from the hospital, I assume. This podcast is way better with that douche Josh gone. And he chimed in, yes, Incarnate Word with GJ King. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that Josh and Bill, they both told me about it. Bill just was like, man, this guy could definitely play at the Power 5 conference one day. But who knew he would be possibly the number one pick in the draft and the Heisman finalist. So shout out to all four of those guys. Everybody. Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah. He was a fifth or sixth. Fifth, yeah.
Bryson Daly was sixth. I mean, all these guys have stories, and they're Curtis coming from Canada, in Ohio. You know what I mean?
And here's Josh again. Hey, Kyle McCord's the only Ohio State player that got some Heisman votes this weekend.
He got one first place vote. Was insane. Who? Somebody voted him to win the Heisman, which is insane. One person. Just one.
Yeah. No, I did see that, but hey,
he had a good year. Good.
Let's be real. That Thanksgiving weekend, who had a better weekend than Kyle McCord?
Yeah, he also had that 4 interception game though, so that kind of
But
no, I think Will Howard probably would have been in there if he had won that last game because I feel like he would have been.
He would have got maybe a vote or two in the top 10. Let me ask you this: if you're an NFL GM right now and you've got glaring holes at both receiver and defensive back, Travis Hunter falls in your lap. Where are you playing him?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a Jags guy, so we have BTJ, but we would like to have another receiver for Trevor. With Christian going down, Kirk, and DB we got Tyson Campbell, but definitely. So we're in that position. So I would say, oh man, it's tough. It's tough because I always looked at this guy as more of a DB. He was like the number one corner to me, but at receiver he's gotten so much better, and his yak and what he can do after the catch and his explosiveness, I would probably have to put him at receiver.
Put a receiver.
I get where people are saying put him at corner, let him do some packages at receiver. That sounds more realistic, I guess, but I would put him at receiver. He could be, I'm not gonna say Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, but like up there with those guys, like a top 10 receiver. And then
if I was a GM, I'd stick with one side of the ball to begin with, and he's going to be returning punts though.
Yeah, maybe
I'll put him back. I'm going to get his toes wet. Yeah, I'm going to get his toes wet.
Yeah, I don't think you can do this at the NFL level. That many plays. Now you can do some packages like I've heard people keep talking about. Oh, who was it on? I forgot on a podcast was talking about. Oh, it was Patrick Peterson. Because I guess he did a lot of, kick return and stuff too. So DB and then let him do some, maybe stuff in the red. But I would just, like you said at first, just let him do kick return, punt return.
Well, I mean, you had the tandem there. Yeah, you had the tandem there at LSU. You had both Patrick Peterson and the Honey Badger. Playing defense and returning punts. I like Hunter at quarterback at the NFL more. Hey. I mean, I think this kid's got the features to excel wherever you put him.
It sounds like people want him at corner more. I mean, man, that's going to be a decision that's tough. He's going to have to sit down with Coach Prime, his agent, and his people around him and just see. But it sounds like consensus. Corner is where because that's where he naturally. When I went to go look at him, when in high school at Collins Hill, he was playing receiver, but man, like they really corner. He played every play and kick.
Right.
Wide receiver, they were using him a lot, but it was more. It's kind of like you knew they were going to throw it to him because they would put him in and like immediately like just line him up right there and just.
It was almost like a down and distance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like third and not, So I feel like he's just a natural corner. He's a corner. Like I know he was the number one athlete and blah blah blah, but yeah, corner is what he should play. But I mean, it doesn't matter. He's going to be good at both. Like
he's a natural athlete, absolutely, without question.
I guess Will Buck get paid more though, right? So
naturally. Will Buck, hey guys, need some positive vibes this week. Hey, we're gonna get some positive vibes your way. We're gonna get you some more college football news because also we've got Coach Belichick. He came back and got bored for his year off, was tired of doing the NFL draft maybe or talking to Pat McAfee every week. So he went and took the now vacant head coach spot there at North Carolina. Mac Brown stepped out this year. 72-year-old Bill Belichick steps in. He signed a 5-year deal, $10 million annually for the first 3 years. All that money is guaranteed, and he's going to also get $3.5 million in annual incentives. What do you think about this? After coming after Mac Brown, bringing in Bill Belichick, 72. What do you think, Donovan?
Man, I love chaos, so I love it. This is definitely chaotic, and it's either going to be an amazing move and a home run or just horrible. There's like no in between at all. Yeah. Is Steve going to go with him, his son? Is that the whole deal? Is Steve?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's the defensive coordinator for the Huskies.
He is, but I heard that part of this deal. Well, and I know he hasn't left yet, but he was going to be the DC and be the coach in waiting. Which kind of makes sense because Bill Belichick's dad was a coach at North Carolina, and then you get hired and then have your son. That that's like legacy stuff. Like that's
all naturally.
That makes sense. But and obviously I don't know anything about Steve Belichick. That was way before our times. But I know he coached at North Carolina and was there for a long time in Navy. But I love the hire. I think he's already got a couple guys transferred over and got a quarterback that's a 4-star. Josh Gillis said they're going to kick ass. Yeah, I think so. Because I looked at their schedule, pretty winnable. Mac Brown had it started getting rolling a little bit with Drake May and those guys, especially on offense. Their defense is horrible. It's horrendous. The worst. They gave up like 70 to
70 on the dot. Yeah.
Who was it?
James Madison.
James Madison. That's right. Yes. Yeah. So but that's a good hire. You bring in one of the best defensive minds, if not the best of all time, to change that defense. He just has to put a good staff together. Like that's all that matters. I've been hearing everybody say this and that about Belichick, but what he has to do is just put a staff together. He's got to get the right. He hired that GM from like ESPN, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I can't think people's names tonight, but I knew he hired that guy, and then once he gets the right DC in there, the recruiting coordinators, that's going to be big for him. If he can do that and get a good staff together, he'll be fine. I'm excited to see it.
Mac Brown goes screwed it.
He should have stepped down. I mean, he had a bad year, man. They ended the year bad before that. I don't know. I feel like Mac had a pretty solid staff too, but we'll see what they do.
He said he hired Colorado Stallion Spygate 2.0. And Josh, Mike Lombardi, was that it?
Mike Lombardi, yep. That's So,
yeah,
that's a good football mind. And I just think he has to bring in a young, energetic staff that's just going to, get it. Kind of like what Prime had. I mean, he's bringing in different types of guys and different cats. Because Belichick's sitting in my son's room, man, for UFC. And you got Michael Jordan back in this, It's Michael Jordan. Like, every kid knows Michael Jordan. They might not have watched him play. I interview these high school kids, and it's Jordan. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
So that guy's coming in. I would bring Jordan into the damn recruiting visits, too.
Just let him pick up the phone. Hey, Mike, it's Bill. Why not?
But you got guys like Drake May in the NFL. Sam Howell. I know he's not starting, but he was a good quarterback to me. And they've got some dudes in the NFL more than I just named for sure. And then obviously like guys like Lawrence Taylor back in the day. So UNC, and they got money like at that school. Like it's not a school. It's not like he went to freaking like Wake Forest. People are acting like he went to Wake Forest. No offense.
Right.
But.
No. I think they just see that it's an ACC school. Is not a big. I don't know if anyone actually really thought that Belichick would come in and want to jump into the Big Ten or the SEC or something. No. I think
why can't this guy go and win? If SMU did it, I'm no disrespect to Rhett Lashley. He's an amazing coach. I've always loved Rhett and SMU, but why can't UNC do that year 1, year 2, or whatever? Go win this conference, because Clemson's been the top dog in the conference, but I mean they're not hitting the portal. They're not Clemson what they used to be. They're good. No. They're in the playoffs, but Belichick can go and win 8-9 games next year. Maybe more.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering how Bill adjusts to this younger era of kids. Are they easier for him to mold? Are they easier for him to buy into that old school Belichick mentality? Is it, hey, now we're dealing with kids who get millions of dollars and play too. So I wonder how he adjusts to this new college football landscape without question.
Yeah, that's the only question I have. He might get tired and be like, "Damn, this is just not what I thought it was." Right. Because these kids transferring, and then they got to fix some of this stuff. That's a whole nother.
Yeah. Clemson finally snagged someone out of the portal. Very nice. Wide receiver from Missouri.
I love how Josh is still like.
I know, right?
I appreciate it. Yeah,
he's Mike Lombardi push, babe.
I love it.
What else do we got here? We've got
Josh, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Belichick's at North Carolina. He's coming in new. Someone that's staying. Drew Aller, who came to X and Instagram today. He said, "Hey, Happy Valley, I am back. I'm coming back for my senior year." He told coaches he was returning his senior year this morning, and then went to X and wrote a very long, heartfelt letter about how passionate he was for the team, the university, and the fan base. In 36 appearances and 26 starts, Aller has thrown almost 6,000 yards, 50 tuds, and just 9 interceptions. How does Drew Aller help recruiting next year?
Oh, a lot, man. I love Clint Brewster. That's my guy, man. I listen to everything he says. He's pretty accurate and spot on. He was talking about how he thought, Drew Aller would hold off on the decision to come back. Just because if he balls out, maybe, in this playoffs, he could be a first-round pick. He might have already been. I know some people don't like him, but with the traits he has and the size at 6'4.5", 238, and the way he can move around in the pocket for his size, his age, he's only 20 years old. He started at 17 at Penn State. He's super young still. So I think it's smart for him to come back. I think he could be QB1 next year for the draft. So, but yeah, it helps out recruiting a lot. Now you can lose that the backup quarterback, Bo. He left, but it's Penn State. They've had a pretty good run on solid quarterbacks, and Drew is just I've always liked Drew Aller. I think he's gonna play really well coming up in their game too. But no, I think it's big for recruits to play with a team that's gonna be probably in the top 5, top 10 preseason polls with that guy coming back. He maybe the best quarterback or most experienced at least in the conference. I mean, because Oregon's quarterback would be gone, Dylan Gabriel, so he'll kind of take Howard to be gone. I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
So I can't keep up because sometimes these guys stay
out. No, I hardly get you.
Okay, but Aller, he's gonna help out a lot. They should be a top 5, top 10 team, possibly national champion.
I mean, let's be real. Penn State's got a favorable, and will come in here any chance Manning transfer to UNC. I think Manning has already got his eye set on that early season matchup with Ohio State, and he's ready to put himself on that pedestal and shine out in front of everybody in the country. It'll be the biggest game of the week. I think Manning.
Is that week 1 next year?
It's either week 1 or 2.
And is it neutral or is it a home and home?
It's in Ohio Stadium. It's a home and home, I believe. I'm not going to quote me on that one, but no, I think. I mean, let's be real. I think Penn State has a favorable chance to go deep in this playoff with the bracket and the seedings. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hell, Penn State, go out and win a playoff game. Go win a playoff game. Show the rest of the country. Show these recruits. Show these young kids that Penn State can win on the biggest, the biggest of stages, and say, hey, by the way, the best quarterback in the Big Ten, he's coming back next year. And I think you're going to see a huge. There's no way they don't end top 5, top 6.
Yeah, because Curtis is gone too from Indiana. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I love Dylan Raiola, but he's
Week
not
one,
better
yes,
than Allen right now. To me, like he has high upside for that draft for 2020 would be 7. I guess. Yeah, so he might be the number one quarterback of that, but he's not. Drew. And then Iowa's got transfer coming in. UCLA's quarterback's gone. I mean, he's not even up there with Drew Aller anyway. But yeah, and they're scheduled next year. They start off with Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. I mean, they play Oregon, but that's at home. They play you guys on the road. That's going to be tough always. But I mean, their schedule's pretty favorable next year. Those are the only 2 ranked teams. Oh, Indiana, that's at home too, though. So that's a pretty.
Well, I think you think about it, the favorable schedule as well, and also Drew Aller, the Ohio boy, gets a chance to go back one more time to Ohio and try to upset the Buckeyes in the shoe, without question.
Hasn't done it yet, so he definitely wants to.
No. What do we got? We're expecting more from Drew, honestly. He's like, I didn't,
Oh, no, he's better than Hack. I got
think
that a lot with the size and the arm talent.
Christian Hackenberg, right?
Yeah.
Christian Hackenberg. Yeah. Okay.
He's better than Hack, for sure.
Okay.
But I get why he looks like him in the uniform.
The physique is a parallel. Yeah, without question.
Yeah. Early on, I would have said maybe so because he was kind of. I mean, Drew Aller was a top. I mean, I just looked at this guy. I was like, oh my god, look at his size and arm strength. The way he can. Now he's not Josh Allen because he got a lot of comps to him. He's not that good. He's somewhere between Hackenberg and Allen.
Yeah, but there's leaps and bounds between those 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in our final bit of news, hey, Mike Norvell, his money started shrinking today. We'll just say that. We've got this new trend that's emerging in these athletics departments where they're starting to shuffle their finances and really prepare for this new wave of like new revenue sharing model between the players and some of these really, you're going to see a lot of restructuring with these highest paid coaches. I think it was maybe last week, not Les Miles, LSU coach Brian Kelly, he went and cut $1 million out of his contract, gave it back to the university and the NFL or the NIL. It was no more of the stats, overrated. And no, so he's given back $4.5 million, and he says in contribution to launch the Vision of Excellence Initiative. It's a fundraising campaign that seeks to immediately raise Florida State's athletics to new heights of comprehensive excellence by setting ambitious goals for the future of student athletes, experience, coaching, facilities, and fan engagement. Mind you, Mike Norvell did have an undefeated regular season, and he got a annual salary extension of $9.9 million. I think without question, his performance this year had a little bit to do with that number. What do you think?
Yeah, he needs to give some of that back after this 2 intense season, disaster season. I live, 45 minutes, hour from Tallahassee, so I hear it every weekend, man. Those fans stay strong, though, man. Every Saturday. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They showed up. But, no, yeah, I mean, tough year. You bring in Gus Malzahn, to help out that offense, which I think will obviously help. I like Gus. So, yeah, I think I watched them in practice, man. I can't believe they're 2-10. I went to one of their joint practices with the Jags this year, and I couldn't believe they're 2-10, even with all the injuries and stuff they had. They just looked horrible.
Right.
One of the worst teams, Power 5 teams in the Power 4 in the country. So, yeah, I mean, him giving that back makes sense. And Brian Kelly, too, they had a disappointing season. But, it's going to – you're distributing the money, like you said. So, it's going to help out the program in the long run, you would hope. And he's fine. He made $9.9 million. Except with that contract extension after last year, so he'll be all right. The Norvell family's gonna eat. They're doing good.
No one. There's presents under the Norvell tree this year.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, he's fine. But I hope they can bounce back for their sake. They get Thomas Castellanos, and I don't. No, it's not my favorite move they could have made with a kind of make it or break it year. I feel like getting a little bit better of a quarterback would have been better deal for them. But we'll see what happens. They still got
DJU went and announced that he's going to the draft today as well.
He did. Him and Alan Bowman. I saw both of those. So they've been in college for a long. Well, DJ has been 5 years. Hasn't been super long. But Alan Bowman, 7 years.
We got as long as Brian Kelly doesn't dance and have a Louisiana accent, he owed him the money.
Yeah, that was corny for sure.
He said the draft, the UFL draft. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where DJU will end up, but
DJU's still gonna get into camp because of his size and athletic ability. He'll get it. He'll have a cup of tea in the NFL, as they say. Probably signed by some team and get cut, and then be in the UFL.
There you go. Does he get drafted?
No.
I don't see a team burning a pick on him. I think he gets picked up there in the after that Sunday after we're just waiting for our favorite guys. Or did they get picked up? Oh, he got claimed. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, without question.
I mean, I've seen crazy things happen. He could get the 7th round. Who knows? I would say he has a better chance than Alan Bowman.
I would agree. We're talking Oklahoma State quarterback, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Or Michigan 1 year, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why he went to Michigan that week. That was weird. But
there's things all about with that one. But that is our news of the week. Anything else big? Anything else big that happened in college football this week?
No, I mean I know Wake Forest's coach stepped down.
We're all shocked.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant about Wake Forest. I was like, no. Wake Forest's coach stepped down, Dave Clawson. Mm-hmm. So I'm always interested to see who's going to get, I mean, Wake Forest has got to really get somebody like young and fresh, like a Rhett Lashley type of hire, I feel like.
I could see a GM getting all moist for his size and his arm and taking him late. I mean, crazy things have happened.
Knows he's a draft guy for sure. He knows. But yeah, I don't know anything else that happened really. That's huge. App State looking for a coach still?
App State still looking for a coach. I sat and watched that trudging of Army and Navy this weekend too. That was a hard one to watch.
Man, I had all the money on Army and they choked.
I don't. It's that.
Bryson Daly, man, you finished 6th in the Heisman.
Finished 6th. We're gonna, it's that we can sit here and do the parallels to Ohio State and Michigan. It doesn't matter the records, throw it out the window. They just look flatter than flat at every instance of the ball. Every instance of the game, they just look flat.
Go Navy though, because my dad was in the Navy, so yeah, I'm a Navy kid. That's what helped me get through life, Navy money. So
you're a Navy kid, but this weekend, as I was, not even this weekend, this Friday, you're a Hoosier man. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
You are a Hoosier man. This Friday, the only ticket in town, ESPN, 8 p.m. We've got the Indiana Hoosiers that are 10th in the college football playoffs going to South Bend to face off against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Fighting Irish are a 7.5-point favorite. Now, do you got any family? Got any friends? You got anybody making the trek over there to watch this game? Do you know what the weather conditions are over there?
The weather is pretty fit. Now this game's obviously starting at 8 o'clock, so it's gonna be starting pretty late. Hopefully 8 o'clock on time, because these college games sometimes networks, and it's the first one. They kick it off, so probably 8:15.
Are you surprised more coaches have been let go?
32 degrees, I think. But that's the high though, so it might drop into the high teens. But it's no snow. No sleet or anything like that. So because it's actually in the 50s right now. It's actually
really
ish in Indiana. I mean, for it to be right now, because I live on the beach in Florida. It's cold. For me, obviously you probably have it really cold. So it says expected in the 20s. Snow is not in the forecast yet. So high 20s. Yeah, that it's just good old cold weather. Nothing crazy.
Indiana in December weather, absolutely. Will says, "Are you surprised more coaches haven't been let go?" All I can think of is the Purdue head coach. I'll be honest with you, Will. The fact that we've got this extended bowl season, I think this might be the new norm, unless universities maybe want to get ahead of recruiting. And obviously, now that we have this next portal window here too, I don't know. I can't say that I'm surprised more coaches haven't been let go.
You got the dude from Charlotte, the crazy what's the Poggi?
Biff Poggi, yeah, Biff Poggi.
I love that guy, but I knew that wasn't gonna work.
Well, I was surprised the coach for Ohio University took the job.
Who?
Tim Albin, the one that took Ohio University to the MAC championship.
He took that job? Okay.
He took that job.
I'm surprised Trent Dilfer didn't get fired. You know, I like Trent.
Yeah, UAB, yeah. Give me Indiana and the points. Sig won't get blown out. So we're talking. What do you think? What do you think this? What do you envision for this stadium though? We're talking an in-state college football playoff game. Are we expecting like a 75-25 Notre Dame, Indiana? Are we expecting a little bit more? Or are we just expecting it right down the middle?
I think Notre Dame's going to have like 80-20 because they're not.
So?
Its ticket prices are steep, man. Like it's the most expensive ticket in the first round of the playoffs. So, which I'm surprised. I thought Ohio State and Tennessee would be one, but I guess it's because it's just Ohio State fans are so pissed off right now.
No, man, that's good. As
annoyed as we are, if Ohio State has like 2-3 and outs in the first thing, they're gonna start booing.
Boom. Oh yeah.
But see, Notre Dame's not. I don't. This is huge. This is Indiana Notre Dame. It is a rivalry game, rivalry renewed, and to have that first playoff game at home and it's huge, And Notre Dame's trying to. This is Marcus Freeman's kind of like statement legacy game, if you will.
No, absolutely.
I think next week if they win, it'd be more of a legacy to beat Georgia.
Absolutely.
Super legacy, even with Gunnar Stockton. But no, this is huge. And it's a pretty even matchup. 7.5 is about right. Just because the trenches. I've talked about this with like Michael Chen, who I know is a good friend of the show and everything, and Josh and a lot of people. It's just when Ohio State beat them, or what Josh mentioned, when they struggled with Michigan and barely won that game, it was in the trenches. And Notre Dame has the guys like that up front. So that's the thing that sticks out to most to me. And then Riley Leonard versus Curtis Rourke. Can Curtis – see, I don't think Curtis will play as bad as he did versus Ohio State, but he definitely needs to outplay Riley Leonard. And Leonard's been playing a lot better lately. They need to get Leonard in some long passing situations because you know what Notre Dame's going to do. Dump ball with the two running backs or Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard runs the ball really, really well. Yeah. Maybe definitely the best in the maybe Jennings, I guess, in the playoffs. But outside of maybe Jennings, he runs the best. And he's just a thumper. He's a different type of runner than Jennings, you know what I mean? Yeah. So their passing offense is 101st ranked in the country. They average a little bit under 200 yards. So, I mean, they're not throwing it everywhere, but they're 10th in running. They run for over 220 yards a game. So it's going to be a long day in the office, man.
Will jumped in. He said it's more than being pissed. It's depressing. Ohio State, especially today, need the W or Santa's not coming. That's how it feels.
I mean, I know we're getting into that game, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll wait. I'll let you talk about that more than me.
Yeah. No, I definitely concur with everything you said. This game is going to come down to who can play defense and who can run the ball early. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And, I don't think Curtis Rourke had really a bad game against Ohio State. I just think they brought blitz when he wasn't expecting it and just brought too many.
Never had time. Yeah, never
had time. They're going to need Curtis Rourke to, pull that rabbit out of the hat a time or two. But if you're going back 5-step drop and expecting magic every play from him, I think you're in for a long night. I think it's who can get off the field on third down and who can run the ball more effectively. It comes down to this game.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas knows what they're doing, man, because I don't know if you want me to give a prediction yet, but I mean, 7's about where I had it for Notre Dame.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have Notre Dame winning this game 27-20.
Okay, I like that.
I don't know what the over/under is. That's probably over. Oh, maybe not. I don't know what the over/under is.
I
know it's probably under. I think it was like 50 something. But either way, that's a Josh. He would know. He's still listening at the hospital.
Oh yeah.
So, but I'd say 27-20. I do have them winning. I think Indiana can win. Don't get me wrong. Hoosiers fans, don't hate me. I'm keeping it real. You know what I mean? Keeping it honest. I think there's some definitely ways they can win. For one, red zone. Notre Dame does struggle in the red zone.
Yeah.
Sure. And they haven't played well when they did play an explosive offense, which last time I was on their show, I picked USC to beat Notre Dame, which they didn't, but it was close and they gave up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Indiana's not quite as explosive, I think, as USC, maybe on offense, speed wise, but everything else they're better than USC. So I mean, I think they can do a lot of the same things USC can do offense. And their defense is better than USC too. And this is
No,
a
absolutely.
playoff game, so
Yeah.
Curtis is an amazing quarterback to me. Think he's a couple plays away from being in New York. He's on the ballot. He was there. Zach Horton, got to use him a little bit more. Those boys up front got to just block though. Trey Weddick and Bray Lynch, all those guys. Tyler Stevens, Carter Smith, they got their work cut out for them. Notre Dame's so good in the trenches, as we all know. They're good every year up there. So they got to just take advantage and then get the turnovers. Indiana turnover machine this year. That's what they've been known for, is just getting turnovers. They're like top 10 in turnover margin. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and again, we sat here a couple months back and talked about Ohio State and Indiana being the biggest game in Indiana history. Like, hey, next man up. This is the next biggest game in Indiana history. And I'd be remiss to say if it wasn't for a muffed punt and a punt return by Caleb Downs, Indiana's in that game all the way to the last ticks of the clock.
Yeah. I mean, some people think that, but some people also say Ohio State was playing vanilla and took their foot off the gas. What do you think? Because you watch Ohio State every week.
I watch them every week.
They could have won by like 50. Ohio State.
No, I don't. I haven't watched a game where I watched it. I'm like, you know what? They should have won by more, because I just can't figure out what this team as a whole wants to accomplish on a drive. I think Indiana's own miscues is what kept Ohio State thriving there. I mean, they weren't even on the same page. TreVeyon Henderson wants to slide at the one, and they're like, okay, hey, knee on it. Oh, okay, now Will Howard's going to push it in. We can sit here and Ryan Day can walk out there and say, oh, we know what it's like, and people are always watching. We want to win big. You guys, none of you were on the same page of that.
What was the final? Because they scored that late touchdown, but
yes, again, Henderson broke free.
What did they win by? 19?
It's like it was a crooked number. It was like 15 or something. Yeah, it was like 38 to
15. So 23.
Yeah.
And then they scored that touchdown. I get what Ohio State fans are saying there, because they scored that late touchdown. So they're like, well, we should have won by. But you could also flip it, like you said, and be like, hey, well, that Caleb's down. And then the muffed punt, which special teams has been a little bit of a problem too for Indiana. They don't really punt much, but when they do, they're not doing well at it. I mean, the punter didn't even come out for the Purdue game. They scored like 64. Or the kicking game. Haven't really been having to rely on it much, but they actually just got 2 transfers though.
I did see that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they just gotta have those guys up front. I mean, I could talk about Justice Ellison and Tyson Lawson all day, and both Miles Cross and Price, but at the end of the day, if the guys up front don't block, they're not going to get the ball and they're going to lose. And it could get ugly, but I don't think it will. I think they're going to. No. Coaching's about even to me. I love Marcus Freeman. Obviously, love Sig. I'd probably take Sig, I guess, if I had to pick. But
I really want to see. I want to see Kurt Cignetti really just peel back that next page of that playbook this week. I want to see him plot. I want to see him scheme. I want him to see him X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's. I want to see. I want to see him bear all that fruit. That we've been seeing at other levels for so long, and all the hype behind him. I think he's got it. I would agree with Josh too. I don't see Cignetti getting blown out. You took it, 27-20 is what you said? 7 points?
Yeah.
I'll do you one. I'm calling this a 24-31 game for Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna call it 24-31. I'd love
the higher the score is, the better it is for Indiana, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I said,
shootout running, man.
Yeah. I would love to turn on ESPN Friday night and see that stadium divided, but I'm not going to. But that would be the dream.
Not gonna see divided. You'll see some red in there though. I got like in my hat, but no, it'll be the blue and gold and everything. But I mean, it's like I said, I'm excited for this game, man. All these games, obviously, I'm excited for, but this one in particular, just because it is Indiana Notre Dame and it's 200 miles away, right, from each other, and just the energy of that stadium, the historic stadium. Is if you're a college football fan, you've been waiting for this. It feels like I've been waiting for a long time. Not having that. Well, we had Army Navy, but and some FCS stuff. I went to Mercer, so we lost. But not having like college game day and just like making a kickoff and all that stuff. We're back, baby. We get 2 college game days this week.
We get 2 college game days. So like after we're done with Indiana Notre Dame, we get our nice sleep. We wake up for game day, and then we get Saturday noon. We get the SMU Ponies, the Mustangs, coming into Happy Valley. This game is on TNT. Give me your prediction. Who's on the call for this TNT broadcast?
Is it Harlan?
I don't know who it is. I can fathom to begin to fathom who's calling this game for TNT or what this broadcast looks like for TNT.
Yeah, because I didn't know it was even on TNT till like yesterday.
TNT or Max, whatever you want, Sean.
TNT and Max, yeah, I got the YouTube TV or whatever, so I'll find it. But yeah, like that's cool that they're doing some TNT's dipping their feet in the college football world, even though they're losing their basketball, which is like what TNT's known for. I feel like, but
they actually just struck a deal.
Oh, they did for basketball.
Yep, they struck a deal.
So they're keeping like Charles and all those guys.
Yep, Charles and Shaq are staying on there.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. You just made my day saying that. I know that's off topic, but that's cool. No, I don't know.
Playoffs so awesome. What the heck it took so long? I'm telling you, this is what we've been drinking. Hell, make it 16. Make it 16, Will.
I'm cool with 16. I don't want 24. Somebody tried to say 24 because I know that's what FCS does, right?
Yeah.
No, 24 is too much though.
Yeah. No.
16 is perfect because we would have had like Alabama and Miami and all of them. But yeah, I mean this game. What's the spread on this? 8.5. That's
8.5.
A little lower than I thought it'd be. I think Penn State wins this game. Not easily, but they're going to dominate this game. I think they win by 13 points.
Yeah, I thought
the noon game. Penn State. Yeah. I don't want to be that guy. I feel like they get screwed over.
I think at the end of the day, I think SMU went ahead and gave their best punch to Clemson just to get smacked in the mouth with a 56-yard field goal as time expired. Josh says, "Give me SMU and the points." Okay.
Say that.
16 and drop the championship game. Ooh. Hot take.
Oh, the conference championship?
Yeah.
They won't do that, but I mean I could see it. I would do it, but you're not gonna do that. Yeah, because you can just you should be able to just win your conference like in the regular season, I guess, and then I get that. That could work. I don't know whoever said that. Smart.
We'll jump back in and said that one. I think SMU gave it all they had. Mind you, they had 2 weeks off for this matchup, but I think that really just the magnitude of SMU coming into Happy Valley during a whiteout is going to be just too much. And I think that defensive line and that front seven for Penn State is going to be very, very overwhelming and very overwhelming often and early. And I would take Penn State plus 14 in this.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. This seems like the game where, there's going to be a blowout in the first round. This just seems like 0-1 to me. And when I say blowout, I only said 14. That's not really like a blowout per se, but I think when you watch the game, Penn State will dominate up front. Like you said, that front seven, that's the biggest mismatch to me. And then Drew Aller playing confident lately. It kind of having a monkey on his back. Okay, I already said I'm coming back next year. Like, he could change his mind, I guess. But like he said, I'm coming back next year. Hopefully they don't have backup problems because their backup transferred. And I liked their backup too. He was pretty solid. But
Prabula.
Yeah, I can't really pronounce that. There we go. Yeah, I think they'll win. I had it 34-20.
Okay. I like that.
think
I
they can score on SMU too on their defense a little bit.
I think that two-headed monster for running back. I think they go to them early and often. And I think
Then Warren, right?
And then Tyler Warren is just the biggest mismatch for any linebacker having to cover him or safety coming down.
I wanted to ask you too, Chris, real fast. Warren, just speaking of Warren, I want to cut you off, but tight end in the Heisman. I mean, that's barely happened, right? That's only happened
That's wild.
ever. And like,
let's be real. It's
I don't know any other tight end that.
You've got Kelsey, you've got Gronk. Even before them, you had Gates and Tony Gonzalez. When I was in high school, I played tight end, and I was just mad because I didn't get to play receiver. But let's be real, these tight ends got these kids now like, hey, shit, I think I want to play tight end. It's a tight end revolution, if you would.
Yeah, for him to finish in the on the Heisman ballot as a tight end, it's crazy. No one would have thought that. Or, I mean, I like Loveland, is one of my favorite tight ends in the country. But I mean, damn,
Right.
he exceeded him, and the Bowling Green kid's great too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I rock with you on that. I got Penn State. I say about 14. I know the spread 8, and there's some people. I know a lot of people actually picking SMU as kind of like a sleeper, but I just don't see
right.
it.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to agree with Will. I do think Penn State has arguably got the best spot in this bracket. We'll look at the bracket as a whole here, right? Before our last game. But no, I think Penn State's got too many weapons. I think, like you said, with Drew Aller coming out today and getting that nervousness, those jitters out, like, hey, this isn't my last game.
Yeah.
I think that moves mountains for him, and I think you're going to see a dominant performance.
His girlfriend goes to Ohio State, by the way. So,
ooh,
I don't know if you guys knew that. Yeah, she's in sorority at Ohio State. That's a little tidbit right there.
Which sorority is Belichick's girlfriend in?
That's funny. She's young.
Yeah. Right after that, on TNT, you can stay on TNT or you can stay on Max, whatever it is you're watching on. You can watch the Clemson Tigers, who were on their ninth life, that sneaked into the playoffs off of the leg of a 56-yard field goal by a freshman. They go into Austin to play the Texas Longhorns with a quarterback, Quinn Ewers, who, if maybe it's just me, but something doesn't look right with Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, man, that's my guy. If you even know anything about Don James Sports, follow me on Twitter. Quinn Ewers is like one of guy I love, man. Interviewed him back in his junior year before he went to Ohio State. South Carroll, shout out Texas guys over there. But he's struggling. Ever since he got hurt, he's bounced back and played well in some games. And it's drive to drive with him. I actually said this on my Twitter. Like, he reminds me a lot of a guy that played in the NFL. Now, not body type wise and just the way they play, but just Jay Cutler kind of came to mind, because it's like sometimes Jay Cutler looked like a top 5, top 10 quarterback. Sometimes he just doesn't look like. Now, Quinn doesn't look like he didn't care. He wants to rip cigs on the sideline or anything.
Right.
He doesn't give me that attitude to deal like that. I'm just saying the way he plays, like, oh my God, like, this guy's so frustrating.
I watched the SEC championship game, and honestly, I don't know if it's his throwing mechanic. I know it was a back injury, right? That sidelined him for 2 weeks, right?
He had an oblique, so
oblique. Okay, so I just noticed it seems just like a weird amount of air underneath short balls that he doesn't need to put underneath it.
It does.
It was constantly. So I'm thinking something might be with him.
The weird thing with me too is like him not hitting on deep balls, because that's what he was known for when I watched him in high school. Deep balls, man. I mean, he has the arm strength. Everybody knows that. He's got a rocket arm, and his velocity when he goes to the combine, wherever he goes, is going to be up there with the top dogs. But you can't just throw it hard and fast all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to have some. He needs to get the mullet back. Maybe I don't know, but but no, he won't ever get that back. I've seen his interview RG3. He hates it now. But no, I still think Texas wins this game. Man, Clemson's been it's weird. It's 11.5. Texas is the favorite to win the national championship, though, so it's not that weird. They are the favorites.
I find that so crazy with Georgia beating them twice, and
Stockton, Carson.
Don't get me wrong. They had a slew of missed field goals. Texas did in that SEC championship game, but that first game in Texas was ugly. It was just an ugly game.
Bert Arbun, dude, he used to be like when he came in as a freshman. That guy was a really good kicker. He's not gotten good either. He missed. That was in a dome. They closed the Mercedes-Benz Dome, so no excuse at all.
No, Will says it looks like Quinn's lost his fastball. He tries to feather it out there. It does. I saw a couple of running back little wheel routes out of the backfield, just kind of a weird amount of air underneath it. That doesn't look like someone who's played in the college football playoffs before.
Yeah, because I still people say Quinn Ewers is this and that. I still trust him, and I still like him in this playoff because of what he did last year. If you look at that Washington game, go back and watch that. Like obviously, if you watch that game, he had a couple of throws, he had a big pick, he had a couple of completions, but he played really well. He played really just as good as Penix almost, besides outside a couple of throws, and that's a guy's the first pick. You know what I mean? So, he's right there. I like Kate Klubnik. These guys played each other in high school. They're from
really?
suburbs of Dallas. Yeah, they played each other in the state championship. Clade won.
South Lake Carroll and who?
Gosh, Kate Klubnik. What high school did he go
Dragons versus.
He went to one of those powerhouses. Kate Klubnik, but he beat Quinn, but Quinn was only a sophomore because Quinn didn't go his senior of high school, and he won a state title, but it was his junior year. Kate had already graduated. They are friends though. I can't think of what high school Kate Klubnik went. I know he's from Austin, Texas though.
Let me ask you this: is 11.5 too much?
That's a lot.
It's a lot, huh?
11.5. I didn't know it was 11.5.
I pulled this today. I pulled this during my lunch break. 11.5.
Yeah, that's Westlake, by the way. Westlake Carroll. That's the high school that Drew Brees went to, and a bunch of guys. I mean, they have a bunch. Those Texas schools. They got a bunch of quarterbacks. I can go on and on forever about quarterback from Texas, but Drew Brees famously went there. Ellinger, Foles, all those guys. But oh man, yeah, they did play each other. They're friends too. They know each other really well. I think this game is gonna be good. 11.5. I say Texas by 10. So yeah, Vegas always knows, man. They're close. I say 10. I think Texas up front. We keep talking about trenches for all these games. Texas is the best defense in the country, to me. They've shown it week to week, and these Georgia games. I know the Georgia game, the first one, that wasn't the defense. It was field position. Quinn had a fumble. Jordan had the ball in the 20. He threw an interception. Jordan had the ball in the 32. Muff punt in that game, I believe. So Texas defense held. They Carson Beck had 3 picks in that game, and with a 45% completion percentage. ETN played pretty well, but still led under 100 yards. So their defense last SEC championship, they played fantastic.
Let me ask you this:
should have won that game, and I'm a Georgia guy, but they should have won that game.
Yeah. Who is Texas's best win this season?
Ooh, they haven't had the best win.
Best win
schedule. I don't know their schedule by heart. I know they beat Vandy after that close game, but who they beat in the week before? Oh, A&M. Yeah, probably that.
Probably that last game with A&M, right?
And A&M's a little. Were they 25?
Yeah, they were just on the cusp there.
At the time that Michigan win was. I could say Michigan because the way they beat them.
No, absolutely. Going into the big house, I think that win catapulted them and kept them in that top 3.
That's another game. Quinn Ewers. I tweeted so many "I told you so" that game. Quinn Ewers, he looked perfect. This guy could be up there with Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders.
He's right now. He's the only Buckeye to have a win against Michigan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because
the last 4 years,
the games they played, the teams they played. A lot of Texas A&M, I guess, ended the season ranked, but they beat Vandy when they were 25. They lost to Georgia, beat Oklahoma, but they, ended the season really bad. They beat them when they were like 17. The Florida win at the end of the year was pretty good, just because Florida was hot. That's the last team Florida lost to.
Yeah,
Texas. But it looked really good in that game. It was 49-17, I believe. Mm-hmm. But DJ Lightwood was hurt, so yeah, I'd say the best one was Michigan or Texas A&M. But I'm not really I get that part. The defense has still been playing. I think they played really well all year, especially versus Georgia. both times, but they lost. So at the end of the day, like, I mean, it doesn't matter if your defense plays good. They can find a way to get it done.
They beat Michigan with no quarterback. Well, there's no argument there. They had no quarterback, but they didn't
I
have
mean,
a
they
quarterback
haven't
to
had a
beat Ohio
quarterback
State.
in a year, though. Yeah, I was going to say Ohio State, who we picked them to win by like 40 points. You know what I mean? They still took care of business. And that was early in the season. But, and you know, Ohio State had no bit. We don't get into that. But they were healthy. Michigan. They had Colson Loveland still. They had Will Johnson. They didn't play in that game versus Ohio State, so they beat a clean Michigan team at least early.
Yeah. This is the 4 p.m. game on TNT. Who do you got, and what's your final score?
Yeah, sorry, I've been
good?
Bush, man, with this game, but I do respect Clemson. They've been playing pretty. Everyone keeps saying they're like Josh Pate picked them to win the national championship.
Did he?
And I love Josh Pate, but
I listened to him. I dabble.
Or no, he picked them to make the national championship, not win. But I've seen like two people. They're trendy right now. They're not. Everyone keeps saying they're playing so good. They lost like 2 weeks ago to South Carolina. They're not playing that good. Like, I mean, did we just forget about that game? Like it was close in score, but they pretty much were losing the whole game. They're not that good. Like, can I see them winning? Yeah, because it's Clemson. Like, they have good players. Like, when Clemson has to go up against these big dogs with athletic teams and these teams up front, they lose. Like Georgia, like South Carolina. Like, they don't win these games. I don't think this is a game they win on the road at Texas. I know Texas fans are pissed too because they've been losing, but they're fine. They're the favorite. Texas is playing kind of an underdog role, which is weird too. Sark's kind of being like, "Oh, no one's respecting us, dude. You're a favorite to win the national championship,
right?"
Get it done. Like, win. I think they win. Then this one kind of has some points in it. I would say 34-23. So that's 11. Damn.
No,
34-23.
I agree with you. I think there are some points in this game. I think you got Dabo Sweeney on one side, you got Matthew McConaughey on the other. I think 2 weeks off for Quinn Ewers. Let's see what he looks like. Let's see, because you're gonna get a Quinn Ewers mistake that's gonna just look boneheaded, and see how they react from that. I can see this game almost getting out of hand, but I see Clemson being that lingering, let me get that late score, let me get a garbage time score and get this game within 7, and then onside kick, no luck. I could see a 41, a 41-31 game, 10 points. I could see a one. I could see 34-40 in favor of Texas.
Okay. Oh man, I just can't see Texas giving up that many points unless there's like a pick six or a punt return, which special teams Clemson is good at. Yeah, we'll give them that. And Quinn Ewers does throw picks, so I could see that.
Have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. But it's 51.5 for the FanDuel has it at right now. I had it 34-23, so that's about.
You're in the ballpark, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's see whose stats. I couldn't see what he said.
Cade Klubnik.
I like Cade, man. He gets a bad rap, but I think people are starting to come around to him. He's another guy next year. No, he announced he's staying, but I don't think he needed to announce that. He's nowhere near ready for the draft or anything.
No.
But he's a good quarterback, and he's perfect for Dabo. Like, he's kind of an extension of him. Honestly, like the way he talks, his Christian attitude, and just like the way he goes about stuff. He gets it done. He doesn't look pretty all the time. But he can run too, man. He can make plays with his legs, which kind of scares me for Texas.
Right.
Because when they have struggled against some quarterbacks, it's been some running guys. So I think Clemson should watch some tape of what Georgia did with Gunnar Stockton, even though they're different runners. Gunner's like a power big guy. But Cade's pretty powerful for his size too. So this will be a fun game. Two national brands. Biggest brands probably, well, Ohio State, Tennessee, but right under that, I would say. So this is going to be huge.
No, this is going to be a huge game, and this game will usher us into the final game of the night.
I was going to ask you real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think Clemson can actually make a run at this? Because I don't know if that's me living in the South hearing that, but like people are just.
I think
they've been the sexy money pick, I guess, because their odds are kind of bad to win the national championship.
No, absolutely.
I don't think they can win the No one. You think they can win the national championship?
No, not at all. I think
Okay, yeah, like me neither.
no. I think you have to also understand that we finally got this new era of sports betting and this new young generations in.
Yeah.
Why not take the dog? Why not take the dog all the way?
And it's
I don't
Clemson.
think.
That's the name they know. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence won with them and Deshaun. That was like their
Mhm.
prime, you know?
Right.
The young betters, their prime years.
Mhm.
No, I just,
That's what they know. But
sorry, I just wanted to
no,
ask you that. I just wanted to
no,
ask.
no, no, man. Hey, we're here to talk football. But no, I think Texas could get this game out of hand, but I don't think Dabo allows it. I could see a late score that makes this game look a little closer than it really is. But if Clemson were to win one, I could see it. But I don't see them making a run.
I can see them beating Texas, yeah, but like,
Yeah.
because who if they win, who do they play?
If they win, they're going to have to
I don't
play. Let's see. They win, they're going to play Arizona State. Go and yeah. So.
have. Oh, well, I don't know. We'll see. I think they can beat Arizona State, but
No, I think they can too. And the final game of the night, we've got the number 9 Tennessee Volunteers coming into the Horseshoe, take on the number 8 Buckeyes. That's 8 p.m. It is on ESPN. This will be the only game, unless Ohio State wins, the only game Herb Street's going to be able to call for the Buckeyes this year.
Oh wow, really? That is true.
Yeah.
Is game day at SMU?
I think game day is at SMU.
Okay, that's cool.
Or I'm sorry, no. Game day will be at Happy Valley.
Or yeah, that's what I mean. Not in Dallas.
No. Pause again. I think game day is going to be at Texas. Big Noon will be at Penn State Happy Valley.
Okay.
Be in that Big Ten game. Yeah.
They're in Indiana Friday night and Texas.
What do you think of the seeding? Have them bracket if they are seeded by rankings. We're going to get through this Ohio State game. We're going to take a look at this bracket. We're going to make a prediction, and hopefully we'll look at this.
Yeah, I do want to look at the bracket for sure.
Yeah.
They have it in front of me. But the Ohio State Tennessee.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get out your way and let you talk about it. You're the Ohio State guy. This is the Ohio State of Mine podcast, actually.
It is the Ohio State podcast, and
I will say this, man. Talking to a lot of Ohio State fans and just watching a lot of Tennessee, a lot of Ohio State this year, this is the most anticipated matchup of the weekend for me, even over Notre Dame and Indiana, just because I think these are the two most evenly matched teams, and this is just. It's an aura game. Like, I hate to be like a new kid on the block and use that word, but like, I'll say, I mean, this is a must win for Ryan.
They have to.
If he loses this game, he's going to get fired.
Herb Street will call the national championship, right? Yes. If Herbie will call this game. If Ohio State were to win this game, they would be playing New Year's Day in Pasadena versus Oregon at the Rose Bowl. Herbie will definitely call that game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the one. He's definitely calling national championship. That's not a question. In Atlanta, I'll be there. Hopefully, maybe you guys will be there too if Ohio State makes it. But no, Ryan Day has to win this game, and I've been a big Ryan Day guy for a while. I think I've talked to you about this until I'm blue in the face. Like, I love Ryan Day for what all he's done for Ohio State in this program, and he has to win this game because of the Michigan loss. I would never thought they would have lost that game to Michigan. Having them down with Loveland and Johnson out and just no quarterback, like you said, a quarterback that love his story and everything.
Well, don't forget Donovan Edwards went out in the first series too.
Yeah, still, I mean that too. So they have to win. But Tennessee's great, man. The way Tennessee plays and the way Tennessee's healthy right now, like they're actually probably the most healthy team in the country. They have like no injuries at all. They have pretty much everyone they started the depth chart with in the beginning of the season is playing, and they're playing better. Like Dylan Sampson, I won't say he came out of nowhere, but like he won SEC Player of the Year. If you had told me that in the preseason, hell no, I wouldn't have thought Dylan Sampson would have won SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Nico struggled a little bit more than I thought, though. I will say that. He's misses on so many deep balls, man. He can sling it too, but damn, he misses on a lot of deep balls.
I appreciate it. I see that you're a Michigan fan. This is an Ohio State of Mind podcast, but hey,
trolling.
When you win in the fashion you won it in the Horseshoe, you can plant your flag, you can come and troll as long as you hit that like and subscribe button.
Hit that button. But no, this game's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
The coaching matchup between Coach Day, excuse me, and Coach Heupel, it's gonna be Will Howard. Can he? Because I like Will Howard too. You might call me Ohio State apologist, I guess, because everyone's like, man, you really like Ohio State to be like a Southeast Conference guy. I'm like, because they're built like an SEC school. You know what I mean? The way they recruit and the way they get players, a collection of talent that they don't really know what to do with is what I would say about. They have the most talented roster. Maybe I think outside of Oregon, them in Oregon, close, Georgia, like all those schools, but they don't. Those teams have an identity. I feel like Ohio State doesn't. Like they don't know what they are, especially on offense. Their defense is fine. I think it's that offense. But I do think they win this game. It's 7. I think it's closer. I think I would take Tennessee with the points. They just don't know what's coming for them, though, man. Tennessee fans are really, really, really thinking they're going to win this one. Ohio State at home. I don't care about the weather. It's really cold in Knoxville, too. Maybe not as cold as Columbus, but I lived in Tennessee for a year. It's pretty damn cold up there.
Yeah.
So, and they're like right next to each other anyway. So I go Ohio State. I would say 31-28. So 3 points, Ohio State. And X factor to me, defense. Jack Sawyer, Caleb Downs, JT, can't pronounce his last name, JTT, but those guys are going to come through and make plays. I compare Ohio State to Georgia a lot on defense and what they can do. And watching that Georgia-Tennessee game, if they can watch that tape and kind of reproduce what Georgia did on defense with those disguises and the blitzes, and they made Nico do a lot of dump the ball out and not hold on to the ball too long, where he can make plays with his legs and just make him a runner. That's fine. Get a turnover, make him a runner, but don't let him dink and dunk you. And then you got to stop Dylan Sampson. Which, I mean, whatever. I think they can do that. I mean, Dylan Sampson's great, but I don't think he's going to run all over this Ohio State defense. You know what I mean? No. I go Ohio State at home. If this was in Tennessee, I would flip it. But this at night, you guys never get night games. You deserve one.
Well, we've got Sheila says, hey, Josh Heupel will not blow the game by his playing call and Tennessee will win. I can see it. I can see play calling being a huge factor. It's a must-win for Day. I think it comes down to the ship when the line holds up. Yeah, without question. I think Tennessee has Ohio State has big names on the defensive line, but I think that Tennessee defensive line are some absolute studs. Is Tennessee like Penn State? Saturday will tell. I don't know. We'll find out. Tennessee.
Yeah, you were saying Tennessee blows big games too, but I've watched Tennessee. I mean, when they beat Alabama twice the past 2 years, they won this game.
I'll tell you, your prediction is what scares me. I like hearing Ohio State win, but when you say Ohio State wins by 3, that means Ohio State has to kick a field goal, and that scares the shit out of me.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do. But maybe it's a little chippy early. Early, like a little.
I will give, absolutely. I will give Tennessee their flowers. I will say this: Dylan Sampson coming out of nowhere. Everyone's like, where did he come from? He reminded me of that first season that Quinshon Judkins had at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh wow, hey, I guess we better be put on fucking notice. But I think they're good. I think their defensive line is stellar. I think they have a great defensive line.
Tim Banks has been. I'm surprised his name hasn't been getting some head coaching jobs, because I mean, what he's done at Tennessee with that defensive line and that defense the past couple of years has been great. So him versus Chip Kelly is going to be another matchup, right?
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think that's the stranglehold we come to. We've got a stellar defensive line that can play sound football, that can contain quarterbacks, that can keep everything in front of them. And then you're looking at an Ohio State offensive line that is still figuring out what it looks like week to week. And we were on the podcast last week, and they brought in LaCharles Bentley, the old Ohio State center and great, who has a business that he goes about and goes to universities and gets, NFL prospects ready for the draft and works on teams. He went and worked with Oregon this season, and their offensive line has gotten leaps and bounds better than it was at the beginning of the season. Same thing with Arizona State. Look at them, Cam Scatabo, and that offensive line. Mm-hmm. But the offensive line is what scares me. And if I'm an Ohio State guy through and through, but what all this week has been is just dread. And I should be excited. I should be happy for an Ohio State playoff game at home. But just the results of years past, just watching Michigan shove it down their throat, watching, a field goal kick away from a national championship berth. And I would have almost argued they would have easily won looking at what Georgia did to TCU that year.
Oh, the Georgia. Yeah, that's the best college football game I've watched in the past 5 years.
Yeah. And it's just dread, and I should be so excited as a Buckeye fan, but it's just absolute dread. I want to see Ohio State figure out their identity. Since that Michigan loss, they have had a players only meeting, and then they had a players only meeting with Ryan Day, and they brought just him in. That news is broke. I do think it'll be a great game. Samson was good last year. There was Tennessee and 2 other great running backs last year. No, absolutely.
No, they're good. I like Tennessee. What worries me about Tennessee when you look at them and their schedule and what they do, they let teams hang around. And they just kind of they're a weird team, man. They are like a splash play team. If it's not Dylan Sampson can't run for $125, 150, then there's a splashy team. They have to get a big play here and a big play there. And I just don't think they can do that a lot versus Ohio. Because, they look at the Alabama game, right? And the Georgia game. I know they lost that one, but those games, even the Vandy game, they won by 13. But if you watch that game, it was close, and it was a big play there, a big play there. And it's going to be tough to do that on the road versus Ohio State. But I do know one thing about Nico. He loves this environment. He's not going to be – because people are kind of worried about him. He's 19, 20 years old. He's young.
Right.
He's still a sophomore. He's not going to be flustered, I don't think, about going – even though the crowd's great in Ohio State and it's a night game and everything, it'll be rocking. But they got to get him early. Ohio State coming off that loss, all these players-only meetings that you've been talking about, and the fans, like you just said, are just nervous. And
yeah,
if you get off to a couple, Howard throws a pick six early, it's gonna be.
Well, I mean, it comes to it's
tough.
No, absolutely, it's gonna be tough to overcome things, and there's enough tape out there. Like, hey, what's your if I'm Josh Heitnell and I'm down in distance, what I'm doing is I'm throwing streaks to these corners that get pass interference every other play that were at the beginning of the season potential first round picks, and their draft stock is plummeted. You can watch any game that they do that. I think that's just an easy, a cop out. But if they can find an identity, I sat and watched that Ohio State Michigan game, and I saw that Jack Sawyer play where he drops into coverage, gets the pick, and saves the Buckeye season, only for the offense and the offensive play calling to piss it away and give Michigan the ball right back. I just hope that these players play inspired, because for a lot of them, all of them that they said they came back for this one reason. It's here and it's right in front of them. And I hope that the play calling doesn't get in the way. And my absolute kiss on all of it is if Ohio State can win by a field goal and kick a game-winning field goal, give me the Bucks, give me 34-31 in the horseshoe.
Oh, we almost got it the exact same then.
Yeah, give me 34-31.
Yeah, there we go. But I will say another X factor too to me is that game breakers, man. When you're in a playoff situation like this, win or lose, win or go home, guys like Jeremiah Smith, you know what I mean?
Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. Where are we going to see that? Where are we going to see that dog?
Or Emeka.
Yeah,
that's a guy that. I mean, he's sensational too.
He's a first-round draft.
Carnell Tate,
Carnell Tate, yeah.
He could go off because I do like Tennessee's secondary, but they're kind of grabby too a little bit.
Yeah, they're grabby.
They've
got a safety that transferred out of Ohio State that's been starting the last 2 seasons. They're grabby. They get handsy as well.
Is that McCoy?
Yeah, no, he's got a goofy name. I'll tell you in 1 second. I'm not an Ohio State fan, but I watched the game and I was thinking, what are you doing trying to keep calling the run up the middle? Yeah, you were with all of us Ohio State fans.
They better not do that versus Norman Lott and Bryson Eason on Saturday. Yeah. Those dudes are no joke up front.
No.
Amari Thomas, they got some big boys up front.
No, they do. But I'd like to see the redemption. I'd like to see Ohio State win it by 3. Send those seniors out the right way. Give them one last win in the shoe, and your big win, your consolation prize is you get to go play Oregon. You get that opportunity to, avenge that loss by 1 point, and you get to do it in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. So I'm going to take the Bucks.
All right, but we're agreed on the same.
Yeah, we're definitely in the ballpark. So that brings me to this. And Josh and I brought it up last week. We're talking about this playoff bracket. And we brought it up last week. Did the committee help Oregon at all by giving them that number 1 seed?
I know people are saying no because they have to play Tennessee or Ohio State, but at the end of the day, man, like I think they're fine. Like I picked. I'm looking at the thing. Sorry, I'm like squinting. I picked Oregon to win the national championship at the beginning of the season.
Good balls. Thank you, Sheila.
I mean, I don't think they did them any favors, but I think they got it right. Like I don't think.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no way you can't get the number 1.
There's just no way around it. And what they put them at where Georgia is. I mean, they play Notre Dame or Indiana, but then I don't know. They might have to play Penn State. Like,
well, let me ask
you. Play Penn State. I mean, that was a good game, but like.
But if Oregon were to lay down the second half of that game, do you think Oregon would rather be where Penn State is to play SMU and then play Boise?
They wouldn't be there though because they beat Ohio State.
They'd probably be 5. You're right.
So they'd be playing Clemson in the first round. I mean, I don't know. They wouldn't have a bye. I mean, they're 2 games away from a national championship. I just don't know. You can't complain. I don't think you can. I really have heard more national people complain than Oregon fans.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I follow a bunch of Oregon people when I was writing for USC, and I try to follow as many Oregon guys as I could, being in the Pac-12, and they're not. I mean, some of them were like, "Oh, well, we kind of got screwed," but like,
naturally will.
Well, it's not really like a committee's fault. It's like a system fault because this whole like automatic berth thing, like these teams shouldn't be getting. Boise shouldn't be a 3 seed. Come on, dude. Let's be for real. Like I'm happy for them. That's cool, but like they're not a 3 seed. But like that's the system they have. They got to change it in 2 or whatever years, but they shouldn't be. Just because you win conference and stuff like that, or high like whoever the top teams are should just be the top.
Let me ask you this though. Give me one hot take or give me one upset you see with this bracket. Pick your one. Pick your one before we start any of this college football 12-team madness.
Boise over Penn State.
Boise over. So I like that because you give. Let's be real. Boise.
I see a lot of chalk. I see a lot of chalk.
I think that Boise has been running Genty into the ground. I think giving him 3 weeks off is great.
Huge.
And then 2, having him finish 214 votes behind Travis Hunter, I think they just pissed him off.
He did better than I thought he would in the Heisman, but you're right. I didn't think it would be as close, but yeah, I mean, I guess some people thought he would win, so yeah. I mean, I just think Spencer Danielson with the first thing you mentioned, 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Huge, because they've been running that man into the ground.
Sheila's calling for Clemson.
I mean, trying to get his stats up too, because they could have taken him out early in a few of those games, but they were running him trying to get his stats up. But and then Maddox Mason, dude, he's been playing good. Now they have a problem if he gets hurt because they don't have a scholarship backup quarterback because they got one hurt in practice. He went out in practice, and Malachi Nelson transferred. Well, now I know some of these quarterbacks are transferring; they're finishing out the bowl games, but I know some of them are just done. So it's just hard for me to keep up with all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I like this team. I mean, obviously, what they did early in the season, almost beating Oregon, and their defense is good. I also think Penn State is a team that hangs around and lets teams that are maybe not as talented as them hang in games. You can't do that with this team. And I think Genty's going to run all over Penn State. I don't care who they're playing. I think because people say, "Oh, Genty's playing in the Mountain West." It doesn't matter, dude. Like
2,000 or 2,400 yards. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch him against possibly against such a good front seven of Penn State. That'll be the real measuring stick for Genty.
Maddox Mason has to throw the ball well, though, because, I mean, you can't stop Genty if they just load the box and this dude can't throw. But I do like him as a quarterback. When he's had to make throws in certain games, he's made them. He's kind of a weird, like, chubby, kind of like, I don't know, just a weird body. He's not a typical, like, quarterback. But The way he looks, I feel like I like him though. He can
Let me.
just make plays. He was good. He was a winner in high school. He went to American
Yeah.
Fork in Utah. I
Oh,
think
okay.
he's like 5'11", like 220, dude. He's like my size.
Let me.
He's listed at 5'10", 211.
Oh,
He
really?
looks bigger than 211.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I was thinking
But
about
I
this
like
the
that
other.
kid though. He makes throws. Short, but he makes throws.
No, I was thinking about this the other night. Because they talked about Carson Beck and that injury, and saying that Carson Beck might not be ready for their first playoff game as well. So, do
Yeah, so
you?
that's another one because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to people at Georgia. I
Mhm.
don't think he's gonna play. I
I don't
think
think
what
he is
their
either.
goal is for them to have him ready. You got to have fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You can't just say have him ready by the semifinals, but they got to win first. But if he can be ready by the time they play, Penn State, SMU, or Boise. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I kind of now looking at this thing, I kind of get what you're saying with Oregon and Georgia. Georgia has it easier
Georgia has it easier.
because the Ohio State, Tennessee, and Texas, Clemson, like all the national brand teams. I know Notre Dame's national brand too in Penn State,
Genty's
but
a senior, Will. But no, absolutely. I think.
I guess if you switch like Notre Dame, Indiana, and Texas, Clemson, like on their side, it would be even. But it is kind of top heavy.
It is.
Now, the weak link teams are Arizona State, Boise, and SMU.
Right.
We have the worst odds to win national championship, but
I would agree. But you think
yeah, Georgia should be fine with Gunnar Stockton. I still think they beat Indiana or Notre Dame with Gunnar Stockton.
I think they weigh heavily on ETN. I think Georgia's real Achilles heel is just receivers who get right about here and then just forget how to play football. And that's what blows my mind.
Oscar Delp's been the most consistent pass catcher. I know he's a tight end, but he's been the most consistent pass catcher. But man, even Dylan Bell and some of these veteran guys, like Georgia's got to get some receivers, and they missed out on a lot of receivers in this year's recruiting class. Jamie French, who's from right here in Florida, he's going to Texas. So, and I mean, you guys always have a bunch of receivers coming in, and Georgia just they don't have receivers. Like you can't keep getting away with it. You don't have a Brock Bowers to mask. Obviously they developed Ladd McConkey. He was a 3-star. There wasn't got like a big recruit. He kind of came out of nowhere. So, yeah, they got to get their receivers right. But I think Gunnar Stockton's a Gatorade State Player of the Year 5-star. They're at some people are like, who is this guy? Like, can he do it? I know he's new, but I mean he's talented, man. He's a really good quarterback. He's been sitting for a while, I know, but he's really good. I've always liked Gunnar Stockton. Came from a pretty small town, small high school, but he's good. A lot of pressure on him, but they got to take pressure off him and just be able to run the ball and just make plays. I think Notre Dame, Indiana, they played Notre Dame a lot under Kirby Smart, but twice they destroyed them once.
Right.
This is a new team, I know. I think they beat both still.
I think they do too.
That next round, I mean, who knows who they're going to be playing? One of those three, but I mean, Penn State also toughest matchup. I still would take Georgia.
You would take Georgia all the way to the national championship on this side of the bracket, would you not?
With Gunners, yeah, but I get what Josh Pate was saying. I listened to him and Cannell, who I don't like, but Penn State versus Georgia with Gunnar Stockton, I don't know.
Right,
that's going to be tough. I would still take Georgia, but by hair. Yeah, I would take Georgia probably either way in that side of the bracket, even with Gunnar Stockton, which is crazy. But
let me ask you,
that's how much. If I had to bet with Gunnar Stockton, I would that side of the bracket too. So yes, I agree.
No, absolutely. He says, "Hey, I would have liked to see Penn State white out at night." Yeah, we all would have. I think we all would have, but they'll take a white out day or night if they can get it.
Or at least 4 o'clock.
Yeah, when Gunnar Stockton took that hit, I was about here out of my chair. Where were you at? About here?
I was standing up.
Were you standing up?
Yeah, because I was like, damn, I guess Jaden Rashada might have to come in. Speaking of Arizona State, because he's I know people forget he's on that roster at Georgia. And Ryan Polutsky, who I think Ryan's actually the third string, not Jaden, which is crazy because Jaden's getting paid $1 million to be the 4th string quarterback. But Polutsky is another big time recruit that's a freshman, and he's got to be ready to go in too. I would probably play Jaden Rashad over him instead of a true freshman that's never taken a snap ever. I would hope that they put in Rashada because at least he has some experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to get to that point, obviously, but just thinking in my head. But yeah, I mean, I would take Georgia, and I was out of my seat when Stockton got hurt. But he's dude. His name's Gunnar Stockton, man.
Right.
He's from Tiger, Georgia.
He was
like
built for
Tiger,
this
Georgia.
shit.
I'm telling you, man. It's like the town's like 650 people. There's only one high school.
Have you seen such a ride? No, and also, we brought this up as well. You cover Indiana as well. It's wild to think out of a 12-team playoff, a third of these teams are from the Big Ten. And the fact that we could potentially see it, and don't get me wrong, it's an absolute long shot, but to see a Big Ten national championship.
Oregon, Penn State, maybe, or Indiana, Ohio State. Yeah,
you got Oregon and Ohio State on one side. You got Indiana, Penn State on the other side. I think that's wild. I mean, we've seen SEC national championships before, but it is
not Georgia, Texas, man. I don't want to see that.
No, I don't think anybody wants to see that.
They don't, but a lot of people are picking it, and I'm like, I really hope it doesn't happen. I'm over, and they just played. It's in the same place too. The Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Well, what if?
And I feel like Texas probably will win because, like, to be the team 3 times in 1 year is insane. Like Texas, but then would they really be the best team? Like,
I've seen some people. I think if you wanted to make your absolute most money, if you want to make your lifetime, on sports betting, and you were to take Arizona State versus Boise State in the national championship, would you see like the most 3 yards in a cloud of dust football game of all time?
Yeah, Scatterboo versus
Genty.
And I like Arizona State, man. They're getting so disrespected, but to play Texas. You know what though? I think they have a shot versus Texas or Clemson. I like Arizona State. I think they're 1 year away. I know they will lose Cam Scatterboo, but I think Cignetti is coach of the year. Don't get me wrong, 100%.
Yes.
But close second, got to be Dillingham to me for what he did and how young he's, like our age.
Yeah.
Well, my age. I don't know how old you are, but I'm guessing you're Josh.
I'm 34. Yes.
So, okay, yeah. So this dude's like 36, 35. He's so young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember him, Oregon and then at Auburn with Bo Nix. So, gosh, man, they obviously went to Arizona State. I'm just happy for him in that program. I love Sam Leavitt. Never thought he would be in this position.
Right.
No, transfer from Michigan State over. He's 19, dude. He's so young. Like, their team's so good. They're young.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's only 19 years old.
So
he's the youngest quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah. I was thinking, we're going to sit here and keep talking. That would be awesome. But let's say Ohio State, Penn State. Yeah. Let's think of the travel Georgia would have to do. They would, they get that semifinal game in the Sugar Bowl, which is in Louisiana, and then the national championship in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, they've got it
made.
Got it made.
Oregon goes and plays at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Oregon being LA is good because I felt kind of not bad for them because they won the game and I thought they were a better team. But that Indianapolis game, people were like, "Oh, Oregon doesn't have a lot of fans." I'm like, "That's far, dude. Eugene is not. It's Indianapolis. I mean, that's not a close game at all for them. And their fans travel well, but I mean, Oregon's not like on that level with like Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Texas. Their fans are traveling all across the. Or how Notre Dame's fans roll. They're that alum base is all over the country, the world. Like Oregon's not really like quite there. I mean, they travel well, but mostly on the West Coast. Like when I went to a USC Oregon game in LA, it was 50-50. But for them to go, the national championships in Miami next year, so that's another one's going to be pretty far. But who would want to go to Miami in January?
No, absolutely. The other intriguing one is you're going to have the winner of Texas and Clemson play Arizona State, and they're going to play that in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Wait, so the Arizona game is in Mercedes-Benz?
Yes, it is in Mercedes-Benz. That one's going to be the Peach Bowl. That'll be the Peach Bowl.
Oh yeah, it is the Peach Bowl. You're right. Yeah.
So
Man,
one of these teams,
so Mercedes-Benz-
yeah, they might end
Falcons
up
must have
playing
a
twice.
lot of road. Falcons must play on the road the rest of the year, dude.
It must be that, or they're trying to
As
get
I'm watching,
that Chick-fil-A in there. They're trying to get that Chick-fil-A open a little bit more.
or that, yeah, they got shout out to Arthur Blank, man, cheapest concession stands in the NFL. You know, I don't know if you've been to Mercedes-Benz. You get $5 chicken tender basket and fries. That can't get that at many stadiums, dude.
I tell you what, I have been. I'm a hockey fan, and I go to you go to a Detroit Red Wings game at Little Caesars Arena, get them $5 pizzas.
Oh yeah, man, that's fun. I gotta go to. I mean, I miss hockey, man. I'm kind of far from. I'm in Jacksonville, so Tampa's a little far for a hockey game, but I'm gonna go to one for sure. 3 hours, not too bad. Georgia's getting a hockey team back, hopefully. So
I think the Thrashers. Yeah, I think the Thrashers might be coming back. Wait, the state of Georgia gets 2 games.
Yeah, they're putting them in the area. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I love this. Looking at this bracket, it's just, man, if all things were right, I think my national championship is Oregon, Georgia. That's what it was in the beginning of the season. So I'm going chalk. Ohio State was my third team. I still think they can get there. Mm-hmm. They went in to see they rematch Oregon. Me and Josh were kind of debating when you weren't on the show. Me and him were debating because I'm a big Oregon guy. And he was like, this was before the Michigan game though, and he was just like, "Nah, I think Ohio State's better. We can beat." And then obviously anyone can win that game. Look how close it was in Austin. But
have you guys heard about the tickets Tennessee fans have bought?
I have.
Yeah. I heard. I hear all this wildness with Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster is always the bane of my existence. Their practices, but hey, they originally said that Ohio Stadium or the Ohio University would set aside 3,500 tickets for Tennessee. Hey, this is their first sniff of the college football playoffs. They're gonna buy them up. Were we confused, or I don't understand?
And this is like the first time SEC schools played at the Shoe in 34 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a historic matchup, man. Like for sure.
Tennessee's got some code somehow.
Tennessee versus Ohio State. I mean, I'd say that's the marquee matchup of the weekend. Like those are the two. Yeah. Brand. I mean, I know Texas, Clemson again, but like historically, Tennessee, Ohio State just feels like, and their states are close to each other too. Like,
no,
so it's not if you're having to travel so far to go.
No, not at all. But it's Monday. Come Friday, we've got the beginning of the college football playoffs. This college football playoff is spread quite a bit. It almost correlates with the NFL playoffs, to be honest with you. You know, NFL going to that extra week. But we will not crown a college football national champion until the 20th of the next month. January 20th is when we will crown a national champion. So I think it's a little bit it's a stretch. It's big. It's out there.
Yeah, I just talked to some people at a tailgate, went to Oregon. They've already bought tickets to Atlanta and booked hotels. I'm like, that's some ballsy stuff. I mean, I get it. Y'all are number one. They're the only undefeated team. Mm-hmm. They're second favorite to win the championship.
I think it's Shane Tennessee are in the same bracket. I think they're both really good teams.
Are you and Josh booking in Atlanta yet, or are you gonna wait?
Yeah, the biggest thing is I just live vicariously through Josh, so he's already went ahead and applied for his credentials, but I don't know what that's going to look like now with a new arrival coming this week for the Saturday game. Yeah,
Saturday. Yeah. I told him if you guys come out, man, I'll be in Georgia. You know, I'm there.
I used to live in Georgia. I used to live in Hinesville.
Oh, okay, cool, nice. I went to college in Macon. Like I said, I went to Mercer.
Okay.
Lived in Atlanta for a little bit.
No, we're not punching our tickets, but you viewers, you can punch your ticket next Monday, where hopefully, if Donovan's not busy, he can jump on and you can laugh at us or call us geniuses on some of our picks. But we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the winners, the losers. We're going to dip some bowl games in there because really no real good bowl games start until next week.
Okay, I was going to ask you about the bowl game. I wasn't sure. I don't know this.
we're gonna put some. We're gonna
We
put
had
some.
one this weekend.
Yeah. Well, in the weird thing, it was after. It was right after the Army Navy game, which seemed kind of weird. Usually, only being the only ticket in town. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it? It was South Alabama.
Yeah. It was that South Alabama game. Ohio State's wins by prime game each round. Media is on their side. I mean, hey, the biggest part is winning. The biggest part is winning, Will. But we're right at the hour and a half mark. Sheila, Will, everybody else that jumped in the comments, thank you. I encourage you to come back next week. If you're a Michigan troll, I encourage you to come back next week too. You've earned it. You've earned it 3 years in a row. But come back next week. We'll be on again, same time. We're going to talk about what we saw in this inaugural 12-team playoff round, and there's no greater time to be in a college football fan than right now. What do you think?
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I love it. I'm excited for the games on Saturday. Sit on the couch. Really, from what you said, there's 3 games on Saturday and 1 on Friday. So
yeah,
we
are. It is absolutely awesome. And each and every one of you that jumped in the chat, you are absolutely awesome. We hope to see you next week. We will be here same time. This is Ohio State of Mind. I'm Chris. You can find me on X at CRunyon15. Donovan, where can we find you at?
Yeah, find me on X at Don James Sports. Appreciate you having me on, man. It was so much fun.
Hey, man, you got more. You're a Renaissance man. I know you'd be doing all kinds of more stuff. What else you'd be doing? Where else can we find you at?
Oh yeah, Hoosier State of Mind, of course.
Thank you, Sheila.
Over there. They're obviously gonna have a bunch of stuff up with the transfer portal and the game on Friday. I'm actually having an interview done with Michael Chen from Notre Dame side over there with College Wires. So
awesome.
I think he's currently like moving or bought a house or something right now. So we're trying to get it done, but
trying to squeeze it in.
Gonna have that up. Yeah, trying to have that up in a couple of days. And I've been trying to get some players interviews, man, but they're tight. They don't really do a lot of stuff during the season. But I'm gonna get some stuff up with guys. I have some basketball player interviews up though. So if you're Indiana basketball fan, Anthony Leal, just did an interview with him, and Christine Stripley of the basketball team, of women's basketball team.
Nice.
So, and the players are coming up too. Curtis Rourke and Mikael Kamara, because the J-Lab collaboration, NIL deal. I interviewed all the athletes from them. So yeah, I got a few things coming up.
You got a few things, and I'd be remiss to say if I didn't creep on you. And I saw that you got to meet Fred Taylor this last weekend. Come on now, humble brag, right?
That's her name. Oh, dude, yeah, I met, just Jacksonville, man. It's a small, big city, so you meet people out, and I actually met Tony Richardson. If you guys don't remember him, he played for the Jets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I Jenny Dell was at the tailgate as well. She worked for CBS. Hey. She did the Army Navy game. Yeah. So, and obviously, like I said, Fred Taylor's a legend. He's, in my opinion, the best Jags player of all time. So,
consistent.
Get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Well, no, I guess Tony Baselli, but he had a short career. But Fred Taylor is my guy for sure. So,
Fred Taylor was an absolute stud. But for Will, Sheila, Josh, and chat, thank you. We will see you guys next week. I'm Chris. This is Donovan. And this weekend, finally, college football playoffs. Go Bucks. Go Hoosiers. Go football. Go chicken wings, Rotel dip, whatever, however you get down all weekend. And we'll see you next week. All right.